right, welcome to EMP Review for today, which is June. We're in June, Chef Brandy.
Crazy.
June 9th, 2021. Welcome aboard, everybody. It is Chauncey, your host. It is Chef Brandy, of course, who's an expert in everything. How's it going, Chef?
Pretty good. How are you doing today, Chauncey?
I'm good. You know, the weather is very interesting.
It is.
Yeah. We have cicadas to the south of us. Up here, it's very humid and, but that'll change. It's going to rain and, it's always fun when we get close to summer. Speaking of fun, tell us about Entrepreneur Meal Plan, Chef. How do we get it? What do we get when we get it? And so on.
All right, great. So Entrepreneur Meal Plan, very fun. It is for entrepreneurs who are committed to doing life and business well. So what does that mean? We make sure that you are fed well so that you can think fast, pivot quickly, as they always say in the industry, and have the inspiration that you need in order to keep going on this journey. And we do this by using plants to power your productivity and profits. What does that mean? That means that we provide you with meal plans, shopping lists, recipes, access to replays, and weekly cooking demos. In addition to that, you get access to a community, resources, and we have some special fun workshops and discounts that will be coming down the pipe very shortly. So that is Entrepreneur Meal Plan in a nutshell for the low investment of $30.23 per quarter.
Yes, just per quarter. Wonderfully said. Oh, you have some stuff coming down that little pipeline. I heard that. So we're joined off cam by EMP Drea. So if you're here with us live, track what Drea is saying. Also chime in whichever comment section you have in front of you. Now, what we're doing today is continuing our topic for is this the new topic for the month? Yes,
it is. Yes.
And it's eat your watermelon.
Melon.
See how I read that, Chef?
Look at you. You are respected my ellipses.
That's right. Eat your watermelon. Now, in keeping with that, we're starting with spicy, hydrating watermelon juice. What in the world are you talking about, Chef? What is that? Give us a little preview before you set it up.
All right. So watermelon season. We're in a weird place, right? We don't know exactly if the watermelon we're going to get is going to be like really ready to eat or is it going to be a little mealy, right? So I wanted to kick off this series with something that you can do to salvage your not so ready to eat on its own watermelon. So watermelon juice is how we're going to make sure we don't waste the watermelon. I also want to use this opportunity to talk about how we pick a watermelon and some of the other micronutrients that you can get from the other parts of this yummy hydrating fruit.
Wonderful. So go ahead and get set up, Chef, and we'll look forward to all of those things you just said. Chef will be back in a moment.
All right. So we are going to start by cutting the watermelon. Now, the one thing a lot of people don't think about, at least I've realized this through research, is that people don't think about that you should wash the outside of your watermelon before you cut it. The reason you want to do that is because there's a whole bunch of crap on the outside, and when you cut your watermelon, the knife takes everything down into the watermelon. So we don't want to have a dirty rind for that purpose. Even if you're not planning to eat the rind, you should wash it before you cut it. So just a little, I guess, watermelon preparation protocol to start off the conversation. I washed this prior to us getting on cam, so that is done. And now I'm going to take and just cut this down the center. Now, I cheated a little bit on this one. I bought a watermelon last week to prepare for this and test out the recipes that we're going to do this month, and I ended up eating it all. So I used a service called Instacart to get this watermelon. So I did not pick it myself. But what I will tell you is that the person that picked it probably doesn't know how to pick a watermelon, because one of the keys to knowing if your watermelon is sweet is that this little yellow patch, like that yellow kind of patch that you see on watermelons, means that it's set on the vine long enough, to properly ripen. So I don't have a lot of hope for this one, to be honest with you, just because I'm not seeing that patch. There's this knocking rule as well, where you check to see how hollow it is. This sounds kind of hollow. It's definitely heavy, like it has like water in it. That's another another way to test the ripeness or readiness of this particular watermelon. And allegedly, I can't tell until I get inside, but allegedly this one has seeds. So let's see what we're dealing with when we get inside of this watermelon. So literally just want to take the knife and just cut it down the center. All right, so I don't see any seeds. I mean, I see these white seeds, but I want my black seeds. So anyway, I'll be writing a review for Instacart about that. But anyway, cut this down the center. Got your watermelon. We're going to take a fourth of this and just cut it in fourths, right? We're going to throw it into the blender. So what I'm just going to do now is just slice it into pieces here and then go back across it just to break up a little bit. And then when I'm ready, I'll just come through and, well, actually I could do it now. And I could prep it now, then slide it in when I'm ready. Just come back through and just slice it under to release the watermelon chunks that I'm going to throw into the blender. Put this to the side, right? Another thing that we're going to put into this juice is a little bit of lemon. I have some lemon left over from my water this morning, my lemon water. So I'm going to use the other half of that. Some people don't necessarily like the bitterness of the skin. So if you don't like the bitterness of the skin, feel free to take it off. But I like the skin, so I'm keeping it on. And I washed that as well before I used it. I use my skin a lot, so I'm always washing my citrus fruits. And good old ginger. That's where we get some of our spice from. Guys, you know, if you're entrepreneur meal plan diner, you have seen this spoon trick so many freaking times. And if you have been here, you know how much I love ginger. Not only for the spice that it adds to a dish, but also for its anti-inflammatory and antibacterial benefits that it has in the body. So there you go with ginger. I'm going to take off this knob, probably this knob too. And I like it spicy, but I would say minimally. This is like a fat thumbnail. So like fat thumbnail is probably your minimum. I'm going to do fat thumbnail and then a little bit of, I'll say my finger, my finger down to the fold. That'll be how much ginger I put into my spicy, hydrating watermelon juice. But you decide how much spice you want in this dish. Another reason why I decided to like I say, start with juices because there's this mealy effect. And I guess I should test this watermelon before we blend it up and see if it has like that mealy thing that I'm not really into. Which when I say mealy, I mean it literally tastes like some type of meal. This one's not so bad. It's not sweet though. It's not sweet. It's definitely not all the way there. But I wasn't surprised based off of how it was presented. So there you have it. Now, literally, super simple. I'm going to take the blender that I'm grabbing right now. Take the blender. I'm going to slide in my watermelon pieces. I used to love growing up and having when we used to go, my grandparents are from some random part of Virginia called Reedsville. And my great grandparents lived there most of, until they passed away. And we would visit them as kids. And it was so cool always to go like down on the side of the road and see like watermelon. And also that yellow watermelon and red watermelon was some of the most exciting things that I used to love about taking road trips in the summer. So it was really exciting when I started to really dig into the nutritional benefits of these foods that have such fun and exciting memories attached to them and find out how beneficial they are. So like, yes, obviously with the name like watermelon, one of the main benefits that you're going to get from watermelon is water. It's really hydrating, a lot of water in it. But the rind itself also has a ton of fiber. I know a lot of people pickle their rind, but you could also put your rind into a smoothie if you are not interested in going through the hassle of like pickling them. So if you're not interested in wasting your watermelon rind, that's one way that you can use it. I'm going to drop in my ginger, my fat thumb, and the first joint. I'm going to put a little pepper in it because I want it spicy. I'm also going to do a drop of mint oil. If I had some fresh mint, I would put that in, but I don't right now. So I'm going to put a little bit of peppermint oil to give me like that mint flavor, which is always really nice. And I'm going to do a little bit of garam masala. Now, the reason I choose garam masala in this one is because garam masala's ingredients are coriander, which is very citrusy, red chili, dried mangoes, curry leaf, cinnamon, cumin, salt, clove, anise. So those things that have that spiciness flavor that we're getting in, say, like eggnog or something like that. So I'm just adopting those for this particular juice. And even though we're putting this in the blender and all of the fiber that's in this is going to be disrupted, but if we were juicing this and we were like concerned about taking the fiber out, because when you juice something, the fiber is extracted from the juice. I would recommend throwing in a couple of chia seeds. So I'm going to just add some chia seeds into this right now. But chia seeds are a good way to get that fiber back into any juice that you are juicing, because I think 2 tablespoons of chia seeds is 11 grams of fiber. So just a little tip, if juicing is your thing, you can throw some chia seeds in there, add your fiber back. So I'm going to put this on the blender, let it break down, and give me 1 second to do that. All right, so we are done. And as you can see, this watermelon juice is watermelon. It smells very citrusy. The little lemon really stands out, I think, because we added the skin in there. And it's a simple, really great way to, number one, utilize a watermelon that is mealy, but also just get something that's refreshing during this time of year. So I am going to meet you guys back in the front in a second to answer questions. I'll see you soon.
All right. You know what? That looks like it's something that would be really good right now, I tell you. But if you have questions, let us know if you're here with us live, and we'll take them as well. Yes, EMP Dre is saying, look at this. That juice looks refreshing.
It is very tasty.
So, some questions for me. First question, you're talking about eating the rind. Should you eat the rind? Right?
Yes.
How do you eat? You just eat it?
Yeah, you literally just eat it. I mean, so the easiest way, of course, is to like cut it into little strips, like French fries, like little rind fries is what we'll call them, and then just eat them. Pickling them, of course, breaks it down a little more, so that the pickling process is kind of like a cooking process. But if you don't feel like pickling them, just cut them into little strips and just take a bite.
This is what Drea has to say. I've never eaten the rind. Okay, thank you. You're not alone.
Eat the rind. Most of it.
Now,
anyway.
is there anything else you could do with the rind?
The best use of the rind really is pickling it or throwing it into a smoothie. That's the most I've ever done with it. Now, I'm sure potentially you could stir fry it. I figured if you could pickle it, you could stir fry it, but I think you would have to drastically change the texture to kind of make that make sense. Like maybe if you put it into like little bites. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, could you shave it and put it in a salad?
You could. That's a great way to potentially use it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then like the pickling, you have the vinegars.
Yeah.
Does it matter if the watermelon has seeds or not? Because you come for Instacart.
I am. I'm about to send them a review because I paid for a seedless watermelon. Like if I didn't pay for, I paid for a seeded watermelon. So if I paid for just watermelon with no description, I would have a problem with that. But anyway, that's between me and Instacart. But I am a big fan of my seeds, watermelon seeds in particular, seeds and fruit in general. Watermelon seeds in particular because they have a lot of micronutrients in them. And that they're really good for iron, crazy enough. So like chewing on watermelon seeds, like it's something that's recommended to people who are anemic.
So wait a minute, whoa. We're eating the rind. We're eating the seeds.
Yes.
Why cut it? Should we just bite into it after we clean it?
Well, listen, Jones, the rind is a little tough to bite into, so that's why you got it. But yes, eat the whole watermelon. Like I know that we have all these visuals of, people eating watermelon, spitting the seeds out, throwing away the rind, but you really don't have to. You literally can consume the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So you were telling us the seeds have nutritional benefits.
Yeah, folate, iron, manganese, potassium. Yeah, they have a lot of micronutrients actually.
So you would have kept the seeds in to blend it up?
Totally.
Okay. Now, what causes the mealiness? Because you were talking about sometimes watermelons can be mealy. Do you know why? What the
So
process is for that?
sometimes it's because you cut it open and it's just been around too long. So sometimes it's because it's just been, it's kind of going bad, so to say, or not as
Hmm.
fresh. And sometimes it's just not that ripe.
Yeah. Now you put in some peppermint oil. How much? Because I know you got to be careful.
You do. So I say when it comes to peppermint oil, start with a drop, taste, like do it like per drop because peppermint oil is very potent. So in that container, I put in a drop, but when I tasted it, I probably could have put in another drop because it's just like it's a hint of peppermint, like it's very faint, but I think it could have taken another drop. But you always
Hmm.
want to taste.
Great, excellent. One more question.
Yeah,
Could you freeze this somehow?
like into a popsicle.
Yeah.
You could make a pop. You put it in a cup with a little stick and put it into the freezer and have a pop. You could also freeze the watermelon in advance and then make like a sorbet type watermelon sorbet, spicy hydrating watermelon sorbet with that same recipe with just frozen watermelon.
So you put the whole watermelon in the freezer, or you do something else and then
No,
put it in? Okay, come on now.
totally cut the watermelon up first. Into chunks. Thank you, Chauncey. We're getting the specifics. Cut the watermelon up into chunks. Freeze them. It doesn't matter if they're like individually frozen. It's not that big of a deal. But so that they fit comfortably into your blender. And then then put them in frozen and go for it.
Wonderful. So we'll look forward to even more watermelon recipes and thoughts and the rest of our meetings this month. But Brandy, that takes care of it. So wrap it up for us, and then I'll tell everybody what we'll be doing next week.
All right, y'all guys. So thanks so much as always for joining us for EMP Review, kicking off the summer. It is hot in these parts of the world. I don't know where you are, but in New York City, it is toasty. So I'm really excited that watermelon is going to be our theme for the month. I'm really excited that you decided to stop your day and do something that's going to feed your body and not only your business. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks everyone. We will be back next Wednesday, June 16th. We're starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time on that date, and it's still the month of Eat Your Water Melon. So between now and then, always do life and business well. Thanks, Chef. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Johnson. Bye. Oh, no. It's good vision of the thing because it's not anything.